everybody, and welcome back to the 58th episode of the Triboro Podcast. I'm about to rip ass. Your New York Yankees are headed... Oh, I really hope... Oh, I gotta check my pants after this episode. Your New York Yankees are headed to the ALCS with their opponent TBD. I will get into their opponent and who they will be potentially facing at the end of this episode. But first, of course, as always, your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD. Nothing concrete, but Nestor Cortez, he's continuing to throw an increased intensity in Thursday's bullpen, which was yesterday. The Yankees don't play until Monday, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him there. I would probably lean towards no.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the way that I'm seeing everything happen, I would probably lean towards he doesn't play in the CS. And then the only two guys of note outside of him are DJ and Rizzo. We have heard nothing on either of them.
I don't think you're going to.
Rizzo maybe.
That's fair.
Just because of the defense.
Yeah, that's fair.
But before I started anything, I just wanted to talk about how Bob Costas is the worst, just the absolute worst broadcaster of all time.
Not of all time.
Shut up. Let me embellish a little bit. He was, of course, really good in the 90s. He was kind of like I don't want to say face of sports, but he was definitely
big name.
Big name, yeah.
Big name.
But I just can't stand him anymore. You hear so many calls where it's just he doesn't know what he's talking about. This is, and I also think him and Darling have negative chemistry.
Yeah.
I just that duo makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it off camera. I love Ron Darling, obviously listening to him on the Mets broadcast. And you kind of brought it up. Darling isn't an energy guy.
No.
And then you bring in Costas,
negative energy.
Who's just so monotone and is reading you a bedtime story. It just doesn't mesh well.
Yeah.
Because, Bob Costas is talking about a poem about fall and the leaves turning. And then there's Ron Darling, that was a good slider.
I have a tweet that kind of makes fun of Costas. You have to wonder, with Stan this hobbled, he can no longer run. He doesn't play the field. He has suffered great atrophy in his legs. Would the Yankees consider euthanizing him, much like the family dog that's reached the end? Darling, great sweeper from Schmidt.
No, that's it. That was the entire broadcast.
That's what it felt like.
I didn't even talk about it in Queens.
Oh my God.
About the Fox broadcast. Just.
I feel like the Yankees and Mets got the wrong half of both broadcasts.
Yeah.
Because as much as I don't like Smoltz, I really like Joe Davis.
Yeah.
And I think Brian Anderson I hope he gets the World Series just because I really like Brian Anderson. And he's going to be I think he's doing the ALCS for the Yankees.
Okay.
Not sure if it's confirmed or not, but from everything I'm seeing, it looks like he's going to. Yeah. God, I hope he's going to. But you had so many things where Bob Costa said, Aaron Judge struck out 171 times, but you take it because he had the best season of all time for a right-handed hitter. But he struck out 171 times. You had so many other things where Stan hit that clutch home run. I don't have the exact quote, but he said, with Stanton this hobbled, he can no longer run. He doesn't play the field. What does he do?
Hit home runs. And put the team on his back in October.
I'll get into that, but he is legitimately the MVP, and there's not even a debate. I'll spoil myself on that. But
nobody else comes close.
Yeah. Just horrible. Absolutely horrific. There's so many different things where he said Garrett Cole doesn't use PitchCom. Then they go straight to Garrett Cole using PitchCom within 5 seconds. You had
the Volpe.
Well,
catch.
I was gonna say more on Cole. How he called Cole an old school pitcher, which I think on the surface you can make an argument for, but it's just not true whatsoever because he's one of the biggest analytics guy. He's one of the biggest biomechanics. he's going to be one of those guys that pitches into his 40s because he looks at analytics, all that type of stuff.
Right. Take care
of the body.
There it is. Can't speak.
And he's also just so, when Glaber hit the home run in game 1, it was a short porch. That's the goddamn stadium that they're playing in. He literally says, Glaber Torres, home run, and any other ballpark in Major League Baseball. But then it was either Melendez or Pascantino.
I think it was Melendez.
Melendez hit a home run, same exact park. He's like glazing him. They're like, oh my God, MJ Melendez.
Not
a word about the short porch.
Not even like a little jab, insinuation, nothing.
Like, oh, same spot as Glaber, like nothing at all. And it's just like there's so many things where just then you, of course, had the play from Volpe, which I will say on the TV broadcast looked like it was a hit.
Mm-hmm.
But you're at the ballpark, dude.
Yeah.
You got to realize, like, that's not a base hit. And also, incredible play by Volpe.
Oh my God.
Incredible play by Volpe.
Yeah.
Which his defense, he had like 1 or 2 questionable plays. Definitely one questionable play. The other one was a really hard play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had to get that off my chest. I'm not going to talk about him again, hopefully, for the rest of my life. People made the joke about Stan getting euthanized. I'm not going to say it, but Bob's getting up there in age. Especially when you had John Sterling, where, you know what, I'm going to try and get his call up. Because did you see his call to end the ALDS?
I did not.
It was a great call. Incredible call. Just John Sterling's one of those guys that you can count on just no matter what to give you just an incredible call. As I'm stalling, as I'm stalling because here it is. I found it.
Stalling.
Let me do you. Let me get Bluetooth. Where's Bluetooth? Bluetooth. Did you see the Yankees for the celebration when Garrett Cole wasn't there when they're taking the team photo?
No.
Okay, so I'll play that too on Bluetooth.
Okay.
But let me turn Bluetooth up. Then turn you up. All right.
And Weaver deals to Coryell. A high fly to center. This is it. Judge is there. He makes the catch. Ball game over. American League Division Series over. Yankees win.
And also just
Yankees win.
Like, that is how much more energy than Bob Costas the entire thing in one call.
Yeah.
And also I didn't even talk about Giancarlo Stanton stealing a base, which I'll get into. But just how do you like that?
I know, that was a funny call. I heard that one.
Like, that was just awesome. Why can I not find you now? No, but the team photo thing was awesome. Maybe it's because if I go to my bookmarks, I'll be able to find it because I know I definitely bookmarked it. I didn't bookmark it. Of course, I didn't bookmark it.
It's over.
It's so Jover, but God, why am I such a bozo? I know where I could find it. I just have to find it. Which would make sense. This is such a stall, but Jabba Chamberlain was at the game. That was pretty
How
cool.
about that? That's crazy.
Yeah, so wild. Kansas City Pizza is just stupid.
Wow.
Twitter, why are you dying on me right now? Come on, I need a hero. Twitter.
Pat
Come on.
Mahomes was at the game, and getting to the face of a Yankee fan. I don't know who that was.
That was a retired receiver for the Chiefs.
Okay, I didn't know the relationship there. I was like, what's going on?
Here, I got it. Because he wasn't at the thing.
Are they booing him?
This is the entire team. Just waiting for him.
He's called a cheater?
I think so.
I want to know who that first guy was. It was like, hurry up!
And then, there he is.
Amazing.
Just the
I love it.
I love that so much.
This is
Just
amazing. What was he doing? Was he in like an
apparently
interview?
I forget who they asked, but I think they either asked Nestor like what Cole did, like or something like that, like after he got taken out of the game, and he said that he just like went in the dugout or just like went in a closet and just like listened to put headphones in and kind of just did his own thing because he was so stressed out. No, which is
stressful.
funny because he's not stressed at all on the mound. But then
once he's off, and once he has time to think off the mound, he's like, "Holy crap! Holy shit! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!"
He's just like me for real.
No, but let me get into the actual games themselves. I just thought those were like things I wanted to mention. Yeah, like fun little things. But so game 1, you had an up and down start from Cole. I think a lot of it was just because of rust, because he was on like 8 days rest. Something crazy like that. You had 5 lead changes, which was a record for the postseason, and they did that in 9 innings, because the thing with lead changes, they only count if one team has the lead, then the other takes the lead from them.
Yeah, it doesn't count like the first run.
Yeah. If a team ties it and then the team takes the lead back, that doesn't count. And if it did, there would have been about 9. And that's not even hyperbole. But
hyperbole.
I think that was a gritty game overall. I believe it was, of course, I just completely forgot to get the score for this game. I think it was 6-5.
Something like that.
I want to say it was either 5-4 or 6-5. I know it was a 1-run game. It was 6-5. Then you go into game 2. Carlos Rodon looked absolutely disgusting his first 2 innings. He looked like he was going to go 7 scoreless innings. He's just insane. He was okay in the 3rd. I think he had a runner reach 2nd. But then the issue is when it came to the 4th inning. He gave up a solo shot to Salvador Perez, and they talked a little bit on the broadcast that Salvador Perez just owns Rodon. That's just one of those things that he pitched in the Central, he pitched with the White Sox. He's just always had his number. It's one of those guys. But at that point, I'm pretty sure it was 1-1 after that home run in the 4th inning. Then Carlos Rodon kind of just melts down. Yeah. Guys get on after that, and he ends up giving 4 runs in the inning. And just, you can't have that. Like, I think the big issue with Rodon is his pitch mix. I feel like he has really, really good stuff. If you look at all the underlying numbers, some of his stuff is better than Tariq Skubal this year. I think changeup and slider have better numbers when you like do stuff plus wise than Skubal. So he has the stuff. I just think he doesn't know how to use it. His pitch mix is horrible. So I think he just needs to completely revamp it, because if you don't, I can't see him going 6 scoreless innings.
Yeah.
Just because, like, as much as I like Rodon, I love the intensity, all that, he over-relies on his fastball a little bit too much when you can make an argument that's not even his best pitch. And, yeah, that's really just all you could say about it. He just needs to stop relying on.
It's a very frustrating watch.
Because it's so fixable. It's not like his stuff sucks. No, you can make an argument he has the most disgusting stuff on the team outside of Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
So that just annoying.
Again, very frustrating. Trying to find what you're talking about.
Yeah, as you do that. So Jazz, after the game, he said that the Royals got lucky, and there was some. He did have a point. The Yankees expected weighted on base as a team was 370. The Royals was 300. And a lot of the stuff said that with how the Yankees hit, all that the Yankees should have won that game. Just, they got unlucky, whatever. They had multiple deep flyouts. But I don't like I mentioned on the radio, I go back and forth because the Yankees never really had that guy that would just say stuff like that, which is exciting, like the kind of shit talker.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you're better than this team. Why are we giving them bulletin board material?
Right. I think that's my thing. It's kind of like, I understand the sentiment and I like the confidence that it invokes, but what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're giving them ammo.
Yeah. Do you have the stuff on Rodon in school?
No, it's so annoying.
Here, you got time, because I'm going to circle back to a rotation later.
Excellent.
Then you go on to, and that was a 4-2 win with one of the runs being a Jazz home run to, I think, lead off the 9th inning. Yeah, lead off the 9th inning. Then you go to game 3. Cole Clark went 4 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, and he would have been out of it. But there was a very hard play for Volpe. Did you see that?
I don't believe so.
So they were, you know how like they kind of cheesed the shift?
Yep.
So he was playing back, kind of like not behind second base, but behind second base. There was a dribbler just off the end of the bat that barely made it. I don't even think made it out of the infield. So Volpe had to just run in, try and get it. Very hard throw on the run, just airmails throw.
Yeah.
And the guy gets safe. Then later in the inning, I think it was, I forget who, but someone hit a triple that scored 2 runs. And yeah, I'm not sure I'd necessarily blame that play on Volpe just because it was a really tough play.
Yeah.
But anyways, this game had probably some of the worst calls I've ever seen in my entire life. In one inning, you had the Anthony Volpe where he was safe. Like, he was just clearly safe. I don't blame the umpire, though, for calling him out because that was such a bang-bang play. And for so many reasons, like, I'm not necessarily mad that the umpire called him out on that.
Yeah.
But how do you not challenge that?
Right. Yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
I don't understand why, especially because you mentioned that in the playoffs, you get 2 challenges.
Yeah. I feel like in that close of a play, there's kind of really no
reason not to. Especially because to lead off the inning, you're telling me that you get Anthony Volpe on the base paths?
Yeah.
That didn't sit right with me. Them not challenging. And then the Gleyber Torres foul ball. If the Volpe play was bad for them not getting it right, the Gleyber play was egregious.
Yeah.
Egregious. Like, is there any doubt in your mind that that was a fair ball?
It hit the line.
There's no doubt in my mind.
It's
like,
fair.
So I saw like a couple people making a couple of good points where they said, one, they need to go back to chalk instead of the spray paint.
Yeah.
Just so that way when it hits it, exactly. And the other thing was, and I've been saying this for a while, for tennis, they've had the chip tracking for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
How do we not have that?
Yeah.
We also have umpires that got added to the playoffs just for this reason. The ball was 5-10 feet in front of the umpire. And you're telling me that he can't tell that's clearly a fair ball? I get it. Human error at times. I can understand why a guy would call that foul in the moment. Yeah. But when you have instant replay and it's quite literally clearly a fair ball, I don't.
Yeah.
Like when we were on the radio when that happened too, and listened to us on the Triboro Sports Show, and Mark was like 3 seconds ahead of me, and I said, "Mark, don't spoil it," and he's like, "Okay, I won't spoil it." And then you just, for those watching, I'm gonna try and do what Mark did. He just goes, "Stands."
And he just sinks into his chair.
Yeah, his chair like went backwards. Like, let me see if I could do it in my chair. How do you? Because there's a way to make it so the back goes all the way back. I mean, it just
whatever.
Be this, whatever. But his chair literally just went like.
Yeah,
that was egregious.
It was pretty bad.
And then I'm not sure that this was as bad, but the judge check swing, where you look at a lot of like the slow-mos, you look at a lot of like kind of the pictures, it looks like he didn't go. It was a 3-2 count, but it also was so bang.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining that much about it. It's just the compounding effect.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
But that's really the only bad thing from that game. You had a Giancarlo Stanton go-ahead RBI double in the, I want to say like second, third inning early on in the game. And then in the 8th inning, in a 2-2 game, Giancarlo Stanton in a 3-1 count absolutely hammers the ball. Postseason Stanton is real. And
oh my God, yeah.
There's no argument against it. He just elevates his play in the postseason, and it's incredible. It's awesome.
He's so good. I never want to hear anyone talk shit about him again.
And I said this too, like during the regular season, that like you can kind of deal with Stan if he's decent in the regular season because he has incredible postseason numbers.
Yeah.
The only time he didn't have a good postseason was 2018 because that was his first time in his 10-year career that he made the playoffs. So I'm not going to narc on a guy for that when he's been incredible in the playoffs. outside of that year.
Yeah.
So, and you also went up against a Red Sox team that was a team of destiny, won 108 games, were cheating out of their ass. But yeah, you can't say more about him, but I will say more about him when I circle back to him. But Game 4, Gerrit Cole was awesome. He went 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. I thought he gave up a home run to tie the game.
Oh my God.
I thought
there was 2 fly balls that I feel like should have gone out. I don't know how they didn't.
The wind. They said that the wind factors in right field that a ball would stop 8 feet before, would travel 8 feet less.
Jeez, that's tough. That's a tough break for the Royals, but
he was at ball don't lie. The way I see it with how the game went before and how many deep flyouts the Yankees had.
Yeah, fair enough.
He was at 85 pitches. What would you have done? Regardless, you know the outcome of how the Yankees ended up winning the game. What would you have done? 85 pitches, only had 1 run.
I don't hate taking him out because I feel like he was giving up a lot of hard contact.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't hate it, but I also wouldn't mind if they kind of did like a batter-to-batter situation. But the hard contact was a little scary at the time. So
oh my God.
I like playing it safe. I didn't mind it at all, but I would also understand if you said to put him back out there. But I don't mind the move.
I was also scared because they put in Holmes for the 8th inning. And I just didn't want to deal with that. I wanted Cole in the 8th rather than Clay Holmes in the 8th. And I've mentioned multiple times, I'd rather rock with a starter than put in a reliever if the starter looks like they have their stuff.
Yeah.
In the moment, I would have left him in, but I think it may be better for the Yankees if he didn't.
Yeah.
Just because now he's going to be a lot more fresh for that Game 2 start in the ALCS, regardless of who you play. So that's long term. It's probably better for the Yankees that he kind of did it. Obviously, they're not thinking about that in the moment. You can't think about that in the moment. But probably better for them just overall because of that. But on the offensive side, you had Glaber, who had a leadoff double. Soto drove him in. Glaber had an RBI single later in that game. And then Chris Kirshner, he had a tweet saying, it must be petrifying to play infield in on Giancarlo Stanton. Within about 10 seconds, Giancarlo Stanton hits a ball 116.9 miles an hour through the infield.
Casually.
And that ended up scoring a run to make it a 3-1 game. But that's just
insane.
That's just crazy to even try and comprehend that how hard they've been hitting the ball.
I know. It's disgusting.
It's crazy. But I wanted to touch on Michael Garcia.
Oh, yes.
Because I kind of that's why I kind of planted the seed with the Jazz thing.
Yep.
Because now I'm going to get more into that. So he slid into second. Volpe tagged him. Do you think there was anything wrong on the slide?
Oh, it was late. It was late slide.
Late slide? Okay.
Late slide. Didn't like it.
So he slid into second. Volpe tagged him. Volpe kind of got a little petty with the tag where you saw he tagged him 3 times.
Yeah.
After. But I don't think it was anything bad because Volpe kind of tapped him on the back after a all good kind of, I guess that's what you would say, an all good, no worries kind of thing. Michael Garcia, I didn't even mention it. After the game on Game 2, he was on Twitter.
Oh my God.
All game. He was we don't fear anyone.
Yeah.
Da-da-da. He had multiple tweets about it.
Good pull. I completely forgot.
Him and Jazz kind of going back and forth on Twitter. Not directly going back and forth, but it was kind of
in response, not in response.
In response, but not tweeting at them.
Yeah.
But Jazz said something to him after the fact, when he was kind of walking away back to the dugout. That started a benches clearing incident.
Yeah,
just
but
out of nowhere.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Mm-hmm. Both of them had to be held back. But Jazz, this was after the game, a tweet by Brian Hoke, talking about the slide. I just felt like he tried to go and injure Volpe because he was a sore loser. He was talking a lot on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. I do the same thing, but I'm not going to go and try and injure someone if they're winning a game, and I didn't like that, so I told him we didn't do that on this side, and I'm always going to stick up for my guys.
Yeah. Good on Jazz. The one thing I will say is I understand where he's coming from, but I feel like sometimes he he puts himself in
The line of fire too much.
Yeah, kind of like he gets involved when he doesn't necessarily need to, but I also like the fire. I like the fact that he's sticking up for his teammates and all that. So I
will say I
but
kind of agree with you. He kind of gets involved when he doesn't need to, but when it's a thing of like call it dirty, late, whatever you want to call it, a slide that shouldn't happen, and there I like it. You know what I mean? Because it's a thing of like you want them to have his back.
Yeah, that's fair.
So in a situation like that, I definitely like it. But who would have had Jazz Chisholm down as the enforcer of the team?
I know he's not a big guy either. Like he's
one of the
skinny.
smaller guys.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably put like him, Volpe, are like the two skinniest guys.
Yeah, he is small. Comparatively.
Yeah,
of course.
He didn't have a good series. I'll get more so into that later, but I really like the energy he brought.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like he was a vibes guy this series.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's just he was a vibes guy. But
absolutely.
My overall thoughts on the series, I think if I could give the MVP to a position group, it would be the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
The bullpen went 15 2/3 innings. They allowed 0 earned runs. They allowed 1 earned run. Just there's not much more you could say.
Yeah.
Like they were just incredible. I really like Clay Holmes and kind of like that 6th inning role, like 6th, 7th inning role. I think that he pitches really well there. Tommy Kahnle looks really nice. So I forget. I want to say it was game 3. He threw 13 straight changeups.
Holy crap! Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he may have thrown 13 pitches. I'm not exaggerating when I say this.
It works. I mean, it's his best pitch, right?
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
Luke Weaver threw 18 pitches to close out game 3. How many of them were fastballs?
Yes. I think I saw that. Wasn't it like 18, 17?
18 out of 18 pitches were fastballs from Luke Weaver. And it's not even, he throws 96.
Right.
Which is fast, but it's nothing special for a closer.
Yeah.
It's that he has such pinpoint control. He has such nasty stuff overall that I love Luke Weaver. I didn't expect to like him this much. I'm taking my L on Weaver. I didn't think he would be the best closer just because kind of his energy, all that. But did you see his reaction after the final out?
No.
Electric. This was in game 4 for when they clinched. Crazy. He was like, ah! Yeah, you saw veins pop in. You saw like all that stuff. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I don't think I can.
I got it.
You got it? You see it? Yeah.
Rah. He's shaking.
But that was just awesome to see, obviously. Then, did you have anything on bullpen? Anything else?
No, just
good shit.
Excellent. The bullpen was my concern with the Yankees, but so far so good. Clay Holmes looks good. I'm keeping an eye on that. I liked what I saw from Holmes.
Yeah.
The sinker looked a lot better. I think he was getting a lot more movement on it. So I'm keeping an eye on Clay Holmes, but like you mentioned, just props to the bullpen. They did great.
They did incredible. That's part of the reason they won the series. All the games were very close games. I think the largest deficit was 2 runs.
Right, yeah.
In the game, so it was very close games. But then going on to the rotation, Garrett Cole, I think once he kind of just got the rust off, he looked so good. So good. I mentioned that first start. I think he was just really rusty. I mentioned the team photo thing. I have a really funny clip with him and Volpe. When they're kind of just like in the locker room and doing like those champagne showers.
Anthony, congratulations.
Could you make out what he was saying?
No.
He's plastered.
I could
He's
tell.
just going, my shortstop.
Oh,
my shortstop.
Oh, I thought you were saying my shirt's up.
No, and then and then Volpe goes to him. He's like, one more time. And he goes, my shortstop.
Drunk Garrett Cole. I love it.
All the stuff with Cole, and I didn't even see this clip, but apparently he's sauced out of his mind in this clip.
Who?
Cole. Like there's a post game clip. Let me listen because I'm curious how sauced he is.
Let's take a listen together.
What is running through you right now?
Fired up. Had a couple IPAs, like with the boys, spraying some champagne. I mean,
He's an
like,
IPA guy. Ugh.
you know, this is the greatest.
Had a couple IPAs, boys. You know, it was great.
Dang, it's the greatest.
Amazing.
I'm sorry, it's just
Electric.
I love that. But yeah, he's your ace. That's just
Good for him.
good for him. Yeah.
Good for him.
Carlos Rodon, did you end up finding it?
Yes.
Okay,
You want me to
you go.
now? Okay. So, Tariq Skubal. Crap. Which one? Okay.
Oh my God.
No, because
You had 30 minutes.
no, because it's annoying and I can't do. All right. So that's.
I think now we have to euthanize you.
Oh God. Oh, there it is. Finally. Okay. So, Tariq Skubal gets an average of 1686 RPMs on his changeup. Carlos Rodon gets 1656. Average horizontal break for Skubal is 14.9 inches. Rodon is 12.5. The average break for their changeups, Carlos Rodon is 13. Tariq Skubal is 16. And, you know, everything. Vertical break, negative, call it 31 for Skubal, and then negative 34 for Rodon. So obviously there's differences. Rodon's is more down, and Skubal is more side to side.
down?
Yeah. But they're pretty comparable. The spin rates, the breaks, I think even how hard they throw them is pretty. Yeah. Skubal's is average of 86. Rodon is 85.5. So pretty comparable all throughout. But let's see. Skubal throws his changeup 27% of the time. Rodon, a tick below 13.
That's high.
Yeah.
That I thought it was more so about like 10%.
Yeah. It says 12.9.
I think honestly he just needs to be a guy that he's like 45% fastball, 25 slider, 25 changeup, and then throw a knuckle curve in there 5-10% of the time.
Yeah. I think it all revolves around his fastball.
Yeah.
I mean,
But he's just got to stop over relying on it. That's the issue.
Excuse
Like,
me.
yeah, like obviously all his stuff plays off his fastball, but he can't just throw his fastball.
right. Because people are they're sitting on it, and it just doesn't. You're just not doing yourself any favors because he has a good fastball, but he doesn't have an elite fastball.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the fastball he had in in San
21,
Francisco,
22.
yeah, and with the White Sox even. You know, it's not the same thing, so you can't just blow it past people. I think that might, you know what? Now that I'm actually saying it out loud, that might be his issue. He might think or feel that he still needs to be that type of guy
Yeah.
when he's just not right now. And that's completely fine. That's not an issue. But it's the fact that he more or less refuses to change it up that's biting him in the butt and
Yeah.
also costing the team.
Definitely. Then moving on to Clark Schmidt. Keep doing you.
Keep doing
Like
you,
honestly,
baby.
like I think that Clark, if it wasn't for a play that you can make an argument could have been done, couldn't have been done, whatever you want to say, then he would have gone 5 scoreless. And I don't think they give him the 6th. They may have, but yeah, just keep doing you. I've mentioned multiple times that Clark's one of those guys that you could almost pencil in for 5-6 innings, 2 runs, 3 runs, whatever. Just he's not going to blow up. He's not going to give you a score. Probably not going to go 6 scoreless, but he's going to give you just a solid outing.
He's giving you a quality start.
Quality start.
The model of consistency.
So then game 4 or 2, who is your game 4 starter?
Well, it was Cole.
Well, now
I know.
because they're going to have to go to a 4-man rotation.
I mean, I think might as well just keep it the way it is, and therefore Heel would be your Game 4 starter.
So just for those that don't
Yeah.
know, the options would be Nestor, if he's let's say Nestor's healthy. Nestor, Heel, Stroman.
I still go Heel.
Okay. My only thing with Heel, and I thought this was so weird, he didn't pitch at all this series.
Yeah, I know.
So I
Interesting.
thought that was funky. Stroman, we talked about the defense. I think he kind of just not his fault, but doesn't make this roster.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I don't think he makes the roster.
Right.
Because say Nestor comes back, they add one more pitcher. That one more pitcher they're adding is Nestor.
Yeah, true.
So I don't see how.
I don't see where he fits in.
I just
I don't think there's not a spot.
let's just.
It's
Yeah.
just- yeah, insane.
But then going on to kind of just the lineup, I kind of broke it into 4 tiers of just the guys that were starting at least. Incredible, S tier, Giancarlo Stanton. I don't even think that there's an argument to be made that it's not him. You look at this series in 16 at bats, he had a 1.132 OPS. He had 1 home run, 2 doubles, had a goddamn stolen base, 4 RBIs. If you watch the other episode, you don't understand it. 11 total bases. Only struck out 2 times. Which
Interesting.
for Stanton
That's
is
huge.
huge. Walked twice. He had a 1-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio, but
Unheard of.
you hit 375. You just can't. He's on fire right now.
Yeah.
He just locks in the postseason, and
It's just a
it's
different guy.
incredible. It's
Different guy in
incredible to see.
October. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? He's
Yeah.
great.
And then kind of for the next tier, I just put great. So Gleyber Torres, I think, leads that. Because Gleyber, I kind of wanted to put in between incredible and great, but I kind of just settled for great. He had an 867 OPS, had a 400 on base, 467 slugging. He had a home run, had a double. He played really well. He had 3 RBIs, but I feel like every single one of those RBIs was clutch.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say every single one of them gave the Yankees a lead.
Probably checks out.
I know 2 of them definitely did.
Yeah.
I think the third one did also. But up next, I had Juan Soto. Soto wasn't Juan Soto, but he was also still pretty solid. He had a 746 OPS, but that's mostly just because he wasn't hitting extra base hits. He had a 286 average, 389 on base, but then a 357 slugging.
Right.
So he only had 1. He had a double, didn't have a home run, small sample size. I think he did his job, so I think you definitely could put him in great.
Yeah.
This one may be a hot take, but I'd put Anthony Volpe in great
Really?
because he only had a 688 OPS. But what is the thing with Anthony Volpe that you want him to do?
Get on base.
Just get on base. 438 on base.
There you go. Yeah.
He had, I feel like his at bats also, he was roasting the ball.
Mhm.
I feel like every at bat he had I think 2 or 3 balls that were like 2 or 3 feet away from being home runs. Granted, obviously they weren't home runs,
Yeah.
like whatever, but he was so close on just hitting one out.
Yeah. He had 11 batted ball events. 8 of them were hard hits,
Yeah,
which is I believe is 95 miles
95 miles an hour
or
faster.
faster.
So he's just been roasting the ball. I love what I've seen from him. The defense obviously has been that play that he made that probably saved a run, or definitely saved at least 1 run,
Yeah.
was just an absurd play. So, granted, he had that one weird play where he kind of just overthrew the second baseman in game 2 that led to a
Yeah.
couple runs scoring. But I think that he's been great, honestly. Like, this is his first postseason. I really like what I've
Completely
seen.
forgot about that. Yeah.
I love what I've seen from him so far.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, definitely. I really don't care for the slug or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what? He's been usually
It's all
hitting
singles.
Yeah.
This postseason. It's
Yeah.
not nothing else.
I mean,
but
what, he's hitting 7th? 8th?
7th.
Yeah, bottom of the order, you're kind of just trying to get on base for the big guys ahead of you. And he's doing just that. So I don't need him to be the hero,
I think a thing that impresses me also, he only has 1 strikeout. So
Nice.
obviously small sample size, whatever. But the issue is strikes out, doesn't get on base.
Right.
He had a 4-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio. He got on base call it 44% of the time, which is more than you could ask for. I think that's second on the team. Just looking at it on a glance, the only guy that was higher was Stan, who was 444.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I really like what I've seen from him. Moving on to the next tier, Alex Verdugo. He would be in the bad tier if it wasn't for Game 1.
Yeah.
Game 1, he won them that game. He had the RB. I hate saying it. Just he had that RBI that won them the game, but outside of one person, he had the lowest OPS on the Yankees.
Shocker.
Who do you think had the lowest OPS?
Well, unfortunately, I'm looking at it.
Oh,
So, unless.
then don't say it then,
Okay.
because I'll leave it. But yeah, just not good.
No.
He had that one really, and I said in the moment that I was really worried that he was gonna go off and then do nothing, but because he went off in that first game, that they would just give
Bought
him
him
all the
time.
runway
Yeah.
in the world. So
And
I
it kinda
just
did.
it did. He
Yeah.
started every game.
Yeah.
So I'm a little granted he's your 8-9 hitter depending on who's starting at first base. But I don't know. I just
Yeah. I'm kind of shocked Dominguez never got into a game.
something.
Yeah, like not even a pinch hit or anything.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Then one guy I want to very quickly mention, Duke Ellis is fast. That's it. Just he
Yeah.
does his role. That's
Indeed.
But then moving on to the bad, I'll start it off. I don't think he was the worst of these 3, but I think he definitely was bad, especially considering expectations. Aaron Judge. Before I get into what, the numbers, all that, my dad asked me, do you change him in the lineup?
No.
I agree. No,
No, you can't.
you can't.
You can't.
He hit 154. He had a 389 on base, 231 slugging. He had 1 double, which absolutely roasted.
Yeah.
He had a ball that was hit 115 miles an hour that was just caught by Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt made an incredible play on it. He's been roasting the ball. He's been hitting the ball so hard that I think it's honestly just a thing of he's been getting so unlucky that the luck will come around when it comes to Aaron Judge. I'm not worried about Judge, personally.
I don't want to say I'm worried.
I'm
But-
cautiously very optimistic.
Yeah, I gotta see it. You know what I mean? He's on fraud watch. I'm sorry. Like, his postseason career is not good.
I mean,
Not good.
I agree with that, but he also got on base 39% of the time.
You don't want him to get on base. Like, I mean, yes, you want him to get on base, but like, he's not there to get on base. He's there to drive guys in, to hit home runs. Like, he's slugged 231.
Yeah. No, that I agree.
like-
That I agree with.
Like, at least he's getting on base. That's like literally the one highlight.
Yeah.
But you expect more, which I think is fair. It's not
it's
like,
fair. No, that's
it's-
definitely fair.
but
I agree with you too. You want more from Judge,
yeah,
but I just think that he hit the ball so damn hard, especially in those last 2 games, that I think
that's cause for optimism. I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
So I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I
Um,
gotta see it. That's where I'm at.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. But then the next 2 guys, I have almost no optimism for. Austin Wells and Josh Chisholm. Austin Wells has a 347 OPS. And the crazy thing is he got on base 3 times in the first game. What do you think is the issue with Wells?
I don't know.
Because I think, honestly, it's just a thing of they overused him going
could
down the
be.
stretch.
It could be.
Because he was starting almost every single game.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. I mean, I don't know, maybe because it hasn't been an issue until now, but like maybe postseason he's pressing because he's the cleanup hitter. You know, he's got to get the job done.
That's part of my thing, too, where
Yeah.
you have no complaints whatsoever behind the dish.
Yeah.
That's his primary job. I would like to see them move him to 6. And I know I'm about to shit on Jazz, but I would rather Jazz hit cleanup.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. You
Just-
wouldn't move Stanton?
That's the only other argument.
Yeah.
But it's also a thing of Stan is seeing a lot of lefties because you have the Wells, Stan, Jazz kind of like lane.
Yeah.
So you're gonna bring in a lefty to face those 3 guys.
Fair.
So it's kind of one of those things where I think that as much as I would like to move up Stanton, I feel like he gets more favorable matchups because he's sandwiched in the middle of them.
Yeah.
So it's like I would almost rather him have 4 favorable matchups than 5 matchups. You know what I mean? If like
Yeah.
that makes any sense.
That's fair. That's fair. I get that.
But then Jazz just was not good. He had a 521 OPS. He had the 1 home run that I wouldn't call it garbage time, but kind of. It was a save situation.
Fair.
Save situation. There were no outs when he hit it.
Yeah.
You had, I want to say, 8-9-1 coming up. So it's not like it was just complete garbage time.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I would say it's medium leverage.
That's fair.
Medium. It wasn't a high leverage situation, but
Yeah.
he wasn't good whatsoever. But kind of just moving along. There was one position I didn't mention, and that was first base. Who was your first baseman?
I think it's Cabrera until proven otherwise.
Interesting.
I like the at-bats I saw from him. His defense is
D5 at bats.
still small sample size, call it what it is. But, I think it's tough because I want to say birdie, low-key, but it's just a lack of experience. I feel like it's going to come up. It's going to creep up. Something's going to happen.
Well, you can make the counterpoint for Oswaldo, too.
That's fair. But at least before this week, Oswaldo has played first base.
Mm.
You know? It's a toss-up. I think at this
I
rate...
agree.
At this rate, I don't care. Not that I don't care, but like
I get what you mean, yeah.
whoever you want to put in there, I get. That's fine. I'm just shocked that they're not really giving Ben Rice anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anything. I thought maybe...
I'm kind of not.
I don't know.
I think that when they add another pitcher to the roster, I think Ben Rice is the guy that goes down.
Yeah. I mean, they're carrying a 6-man bench.
Yeah.
And they use...
Duke Ellis for a pinch runner. I think that's it. I think they pinch hit Oswaldo
Yeah.
once.
Yeah. Grisham didn't see anything. Right?
Which that's another thing. Don't even...
Yeah.
Grisham should be starting over Verdugo, if
Yeah.
not Dominguez, but...
But I mean, just... Yeah, I mean, it's a toss-up. I feel like you're not... Either way, first base, you're not really going to get much.
Uh-huh.
At least with Birdie, if he gets on base, he can steal your bag. He's going to hit singles. He'll find a way on base. So now that I'm actually talking about it out loud, I'd probably just say Birdie. Just go with Birdie.
That's the way I lean.
Yeah.
It's just... He has never played an inning of first base in the majors or minors, but he looked so good.
Yeah.
Did you see the splits he did?
Birdie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
He
full
looked
on-
good. He looked good.
Dude,
I
it
will
wasn't
say, he
even
looked
like a
good.
thing where like he was forcing himself to do a split. No, it was like an athletic gymnast level split.
Yeah.
So it would just, I kind of like the at-bats as him as like the 9-hitter, kind of like that pesky, almost Guardy-esque, kind
Yeah.
of like guard dog, like just guards the plates, just finds a way to get on base, has a lot of speed, obviously. But am I going to say it? Am I about to say it?
Say it.
Do you almost consider giving Jazz a day off to clear his head and play Oswaldo at third?
think it depends who you're facing.
because Jazz has not been good.
Yeah.
He obviously gets 3 days off.
Yeah.
But because I think I want both of these guys in the lineup, but I don't think they. I almost wish that we could play fucking like college baseball, club baseball rules where
Extra
you could
hitter.
add an extra hitter, an extra DH.
Yeah.
Because I want both these guys in the lineup. I like what I've seen from Oswaldo.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what I mean? It's like
I mean, I always forget. He's a better lefty.
significantly better.
better. So you're trading Jazz for Jazz. Or I guess a more contact-oriented Jazz, would you say?
For right-handed or left-handed?
Like if you give Jazz a day, put Cabrera in.
A less aggressive.
Okay, that's a good
A,
way to put it.
less aggressive Jazz.
Yeah. Man. I wouldn't hate it. I mean,
You know what I mean?
playoffs, you got to play the hot hand.
Because I also think he's better defensively
Yeah.
than Jazz. Jazz makes some darts of throws. I
Yeah.
will I don't have any issue with his arm. It's just the glove that
Yeah.
sometimes can like
Oh my God, what are you doing?
just.
It's like, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, he made the play.
Oh, there's JJ.
Goat. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it because look, playoffs, you're playing the hot hand, and not that Cabrera's like extremely hot, but Jazz is most certainly not.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't hate it
And then just a quick series preview
as much as you can.
as much as we can because you either have the Guardians or the Tigers that you're going to be playing.
El
They are
Tigres.
playing a Game 5 game tomorrow, and I think this is best case scenario for the Yankees because I mentioned I don't really care who we face. I definitely have a preference, but I don't really care. But I wanted this to go to Game 5
Yeah.
just because you get Scooble out there for a Game 5. He's not going to be able to have 2 starts in the ALCS, most likely.
Well,
And if he does, he's going to not be fully ready, I'm pretty
I
sure, for
think-
Game 7.
if I did my math correctly, because I was looking at it last night.
What, 3-7?
3-7. Yes, I think he lines up for 3-7. So you at least you will face him once if the Tigers move on, but you don't need to face him twice, which is the biggest thing. Because after Scooble, it's
I'm going to.
bullpen game.
That's the big thing with the Tigers.
Yeah.
Outside of Scooble, they have no starting pitching. They have. I'm pretty sure they've done bullpen games every game he doesn't start. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. From the top of my head, I don't
so
think so.
outside of Scooble, they have negative starting pitching. Granted, it could have been because it was a short series, and the way the off days work and all that. Just because you have more opportunity to do that, because the bullpen guys get more rest, all that.
Yeah.
That being said, the Tigers do have a really good bullpen. They have a pesky lineup and a young team. Do you think that a young team helps or hurts them in the ALCS against the Yankees?
We talked about on the radio when the playoffs first started that you're kind of see it with you saw it this postseason. I would argue that sometimes young teams either get ahead of themselves or they play free, they play loose.
Because they don't know what they're doing.
Correct. I think the Orioles are definitely the team that gets ahead of themselves and presses and just,
Because think about how much pressure they were projected to win over 100 games.
right. And then they scored 1 run in the wild card series. On the other hand, to the Tigers, where, they've been playing free. It's they lost last night, right? That's why, yeah.
They lost, yes.
Yeah.
David Fry had the pinch hit home run.
Yeah, you're right. But still, they made it close at the end. They scored a run in the bottom of the 9th. They got the tying. They got the tying to the plate. A few days ago, they had the
Justin Henry Malloy, St. Joseph Regional High School product, had a pinch hit double.
I think it was Kerry Carpenter had the home run against Class A a few days ago. Like, they have some timely hitting. So for the case of the Tigers, I'm not going to say it helps them, but I don't think it's hurting them.
I think that there's a decent chance it hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you could say like Cleveland, they played there. They played, where else did they play?
Houston.
Played in Houston. But I just think the Bronx Zoo, the shit that you're going to hear, especially like the guys warming up in the bullpen, the guys when they're warming up, I think this is a different animal for crowd experience, and I'm very curious if they go down 1-0, how they react to that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very interesting matchup. Then you got Cleveland. This would be the third time since 2017 they're playing in the playoffs. The second time in 3 years, right? Second time, or would it be 2 years? No, in 3 years, because it's 2022. I'm just trying to think of the way that you would word it. Ramirez just owns the Yankees. That's kind of the main concern I have if you play Cleveland.
I mean, he hasn't done anything until last night.
Yeah.
So.
But when he did,
it was huge.
It was huge. The Yankees do hit their bullpen really well. I'm not really concerned about that as much as I would be if I was other teams. I've talked about it, how just they hit Class A really well, all that. And then the rotation just doesn't scare me.
Doesn't do it for me. It doesn't.
This is how the rotation mapped out against the Tigers. Tanner Beebe, Matthew Boyd, Alex Cobb, Tanner Beebe again for Game 4. I don't know. I assume it's Matthew Boyd again for Game 5. It was TBD.
I would think so.
When I looked at it. But just, I'm not scared of that rotation.
No, I mean, they're good pitchers. I'm not saying that they're not, but...
There's no ace.
There's no Scooble. There's no Cole. There's not even like a Manaea. Like,
I was going to say,
he's not an ace, but like he's still like
a borderline.
Right.
There's a difference between an ace and a number one guy.
Yeah, like Manaea's a number one guy.
I don't even think the Guardians have a number one guy.
No, like I think Tanner Beebe?
He's
whatever. Beebe.
I'd say he's like a medium to high range 2.
I was going to say that, yeah. Like low 2, high 3 maybe. That's probably not even fair. He's a 2. He's a good 2. But again, there's no ace. That's really what we're getting at.
You got the corpse of Matthew Boyd and Alex Cobb.
Yeah.
It's just that doesn't scare me that much.
Yeah, it's the bullpen that's keeping them in the game because their offense isn't that scary either.
Yeah. If you're the Yankees, who would you rather play? Well, I know who you want them to play for your prediction, but
yeah. For the Yankees, I honestly think they have a good shot either way.
I do too.
Probably the Guardians just because they have experience. Like you said, they've hit the bullpen. And I'm looking at it now. They have a ton of lefties. So Rodon can come up big.
That could also be something that hurts them. Because 3 out of 4 of their starters would be righties.
What do you mean?
For the Yankees.
I'm talking that the Guardians have lefties, so
Yeah.
Rodon starting against them.
No, but I'm saying
favors Rodon.
everyone else, though. Because you have Cole, Heel, Schmidt.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean, but like...
Plus short porch.
Kyle Manzardo, Will Brennan are the only guys who are going to switch out. Andres Jimenez, you're not worried about. Bo Naylor. You know what I mean? Like, Rocchio's a switch hitter. He's having a decent postseason. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you say Tigers because they're young, but I don't know. I
think it comes down to as much as the Cleveland rotation doesn't do it for me. The Tigers, like, they just... Because you'd think the Game 1 Scooble, you'd probably give them that win, the Tigers. But then you look at everything else.
No, I know.
Who else are they going to throw? Or Game 3, whenever Scooble would start.
Yeah, it would be 3.
And just... The only way that he gets to pitch again is a Game 7, and I don't think this goes 7 if they play the Tigers.
Right.
So I would prefer the Tigers, but I'm not worried about the Guardians.
That's fair. I think that's the best way to go about it. Yeah, again, they very, very good chance either way. Or should be a very good chance either way.
Yeah. And because that's all I had, I'm just going to touch on this very briefly. My cousin brought up a point about if the Yankees and Mets, do you want them to have a Subway Series? I want that just because... Content, obviously, but also just that's going to be so exciting. It's just going to be so electric, just awesome. Because we talked about at length how 9/11, how such a missed opportunity for them to play. I'm not saying this would be the same energy, but it would be a different type of energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it'd be different. It definitely would be a different type of energy, but still exciting, electric, however you want to put it.
Yeah. And if you want to hear Nick's thoughts, make sure to listen to episode 57 of the Triboro Podcast where we talk about it there.
Exactly.
But yeah, on that note, I got nothing else. Yankees start game 1 on Monday at 7:37 with most likely Carlos Rodon on the bump versus TBD.
TBD. He's gonna pitch so much this series.
Yeah.
He's a dog. He's a workhorse.
The thing is, like, you make that joke, but TBD is going to pitch a lot this series regardless.
No, I know. But, all right. So, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, remember to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode. Follow us on our social media.
You can do it.
At Triboro Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. Are we anywhere else? I think we are. We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're in your walls.
At Triboro Podcast. Remember that. But, yeah. There are 4 teams, or going to be 4 teams left in Major League Baseball's playoffs. New York is half of that.
And California is the other half.
And California's the other half. But,
Oh, wait, no.
well,
No.
25%.
Regardless.
New York runs Major League Baseball. So, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.